What is going on? All right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Waiting for some more people to come on into this live on YouTube. What's going on? I hope you guys are having a great Monday morning. I'm having a stuffy Monday morning. Hey, let's continue. Yeah, I woke up and saw a video on Instagram. Give me 1 minute. What's going on? What's going on? Let me hit this real quick so I can see you guys' comments, things like that. Want to be able to see it. Yeah, I woke up to a video on Instagram, and the video was concerning the National Rifle Association, and it was from one of the members of the National African American Gun Association. Kind of disturbed by the, how do I say this? Yeah, the weather's horrible. It's actually good now, but it was pretty bad back then. But yeah, I was actually disturbed by this. I'm trying to pull up this video, so I want you all to see it. Should have had that ready. This will give you all some time to come on. And so I want to have a pretty good discussion about this. So hang tight. What's going on? Those of you all who are coming on, just feel free to subscribe, like, comment. Yep. Wow. I think I saved it, but it's not pulling up. Let me see. It wasn't that far apart. Anyway, the video opined that what's going on? Check it in from PA. What's going on?
Please do not speak unless you're spoken to. That was a warning.
Oh, bro. All right. What's going on? Let's get some more people in here because I want to make this conversation
Please do not speak unless you're spoken to. That was a warning.
To make this conversation a pretty good one. So you all put in the comments what you think about the NRA versus the National African American Gun Association. What's going on, Franklin? What's going on? Hey, Austin Yandel, what's going on? Brian Fife checking in from Cali. No, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Tex, what's going on? Nate Too Real, what's going on? Checking in from PA. Rakeem, what's going on? What's going on? Trying to find this video. It's important to talk about. It really is. This is the National African American Gun Association versus the National Rifle Association. Now, before we get deep into it, I want you to understand that I can appreciate, okay? I can greatly appreciate having a, thank you, Sullivan, I appreciate it. I can greatly appreciate having an association that is dedicated toward advancing the cause of African Americans, or I'm sorry, I don't even use that term. That's what people tend to associate with Black Americans. All right, we're not going to go to that part either. But African Americans, Black folks, Africans, whatever, folks with darker skin, whatever you want to title yourself as, okay? I can appreciate an association that is gathering folks to protect themselves and use their Second Amendment rights. Okay, and excuse me, I'm sounding stuffy because I have sinus issues. I've had that for quite a while. It's probably sometimes it gets worse, sometimes it gets better. But that being said, I woke up to this video and it was rather disturbing, and I'm pushing, trying to find it. I screen recorded it because I was going to make another video in contrast to that video, but I figured, screw it, let's just go on ahead and go live. So it was from another firearms instructor who's one of the members of the National African American Gun Association, I think chapter presidents or whatever the case may be. And so she was saying that the National Rifle Association has failed in its job, if you will, to protect American rights, or more so the rights of Black Americans as it relates to gun ownership. I disagree. I disagree strongly. I almost said horribly. I disagree strongly. But to back that disagreement up, of course, I had to go do more research, because as much as I'd like to know everything, I don't know everything. Excuse me. I want to be right, but I am not always right. That having been said, I went and did some. Now I know some history about the NRA. Okay, actually a lot. But from the National African American Gun Association, let me get to that real quick. The National African American Gun Association was founded in 2015. Of course, I'm going to Wikipedia to look at this stuff because, people are able to amend it, whatever the case may be. You said, dang, Mike, you even had to block me on Facebook. Whatever. You're here on YouTube. Be lucky I don't block you here. And I don't even remember what it was for. I don't put a chip on my shoulder. Anyway, the National African American Gun Association is an organization which promotes gun ownership rights among African Americans in the United States. It is stated to have over 34,000 members, more than 75 chapters in the United States, and has grown significantly in reaction to Black deaths. Now, I'm not saying anything about Black deaths. We'll get to that part later, but in reaction to Black deaths. So just the cause of just wanting to protect yourself before death wasn't a motivator enough already. It's just in reaction to Black deaths. Just keep that in mind. Many were surprised by NAGA, and I'm kind of disturbed by the acronym. In the military, one thing we did was acronyms. You got a whole bunch of different, acronyms, CONUS, OCONUS, stuff like that. NAGA, NAGGA. As offensive as the N word is, you choose NAGA as a acronym, which is what it is. And it's closely related to, but I ain't gonna beat up on that. You all have heard me talk about that. I found it funny, whatever. The organization was founded by Philip Smith in 2015. Good, cool, great. I love it. Absolutely love it. February 28, 2015. Founded for, Black History Month. Philip Smith founded the National African American Gun Association in February 2015 in honor of Black History Month. His goal was to educate Black Americans on gun usage and ownership. Organizers say that NAGA is a civil rights organization that aims to build community and promote self-protection. Smith founded NAGA in response to perceived discrimination, not actual discrimination, perceived discrimination, not actual discrimination. Now, I didn't write this stuff. This is here, right? Perceived discrimination by the NRA. And they cite the Bracton Booker NPR.org article with growing membership since Trump, Black Gun Group considers getting political. All right. From 2015 to 2020, the organization has grown to over 34,000 members with 75 chapters and is expected to open 25 more within the coming year. Membership first spiked when Donald Trump was elected president. Not when Obama was president, not when Trump, right? So if If Trump excited you, in essence, to start this group, would that not be him making America great again? I just, right? Because before then, you weren't caring about guns, or you just didn't think about that. But, oh, and by the way, let me preface, I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm not conservative or liberal. I'm independent. I'm conservative on some stuff, liberal on some stuff. It just depends on the issue. But when it comes down to my guns, I'm straight up conservative because they believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in the Second Amendment. Long before Trump was president. Long before, well, please, we're not going to even go there, okay? But let's continue. Smith attributed part of the growth to a political climate where people with racist views feel emboldened to talk about and act on those views. Oh, you mean people like Bill Clinton? You mean people like our current president, Joe Biden, who was the author of the National Gun, not the National Gun Control Act, that was a different one. The Clinton crime bill? You mean he who was the author of that? Never mind that though. Just don't worry about that. That's nothing. Just nothing to see here. Sorry. Vice President for the Kansas City, Missouri chapter, Eric Sanders, is certified in concealed carry and said, quote, "We have a large group that's coming into the organization and we are 60 to 70% women now," which I love. Dude, I love it. 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 After the shooting of Philando Castile, the National African American Gun Association immediately condemned the shooting, while the NRA did not. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. One, Philando Castile was a black man who was in Minnesota, right? And in Minnesota, Philando Castile had his concealed carry. Make no mistake about that. Okay, he had that. When he was pulled over in a traffic stop, or on a traffic stop for a broken taillight, the officer came to him and began to ask him certain questions relative to the traffic stop. Philando Castile, a great guy, from all things considering, told the officer that he had a license and that he had a gun, and that his gun was in his bag. The officer said, "Well, don't reach for it." Philando was like, "Well, I'm not reaching for it," but he was reaching in the bag. So in the bag, we can reasonably assume that there was a firearm, possibly, and there was his ID, possibly. And in Philando's defense, I believe he was possibly going for his ID. But when the hands disappear, it accelerates the fear. I'll say again. When the hands disappear, it accelerates the fear. And so his hands disappeared into that bag. Officer told him again, "Don't reach for it." Philando was still trying to talk. Officer told him, "Don't reach for it" again. He was still trying to talk. He came out of that bag with something, and then the officer shot. The officer was fired. The officer was also tried in court, arrested. The officer was found not guilty, and rightfully so. Every time I demonstrate this procedure of when my hands disappear into a bag, and then the students start talking, and I ask them, "What am I coming out with?" "Well, I don't know." "What am I coming out with?" "Well, I don't." Pop! Brings that point in home. When the hands disappear, it accelerates the fear. I blame Philando Castile's death not on the police officer. I blame it on his instructor. And I blame it on other people black folks who are instructors, who have social media platforms like or better than mine, who are not educating the people correctly. Now, if you're educating the people correctly, cool. Hats off to you, air salt, airborne, all that great stuff. But if you are not educating the people correctly, you are doing the people a disservice. Why do I say that? Because in light of recent events, you have a plethora of people gaining certifications so that they can teach people about guns. Hats off to you. Welcome to the instructor family. But you need to make sure that you get more education behind that instructor certification that that instructor class did not and could not teach you. Like the experience of being a police officer, like the experience of going on, at a minimum, at least a ride along. Not just one time, not just 2 times, but as many times as you can. Why? Because no 2 days as a police officer are ever the same, depending upon where you are. One day it'll be dry. The next day it'll be filled with calls. And with each of those days, you will get an experience. You need to experience the fear of what you are trying to teach. You need to experience that because that will make you a better instructor. What did you expect the NRA to come out and immediately say, given the fact that a percentage of NRA members are law enforcement officers and they know that an investigation is underway, and to speak out would be foolish? There is a statement, I'd rather be silent and be thought of as a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. The NAAGA, the National African American Gun Association, immediately condemned the shooting of Philando Castile while the NRA did not. That is the essence of the statement. I'd rather be silent like the NRA did and be thought of as a fool than to speak out like the National African American Gun Association did and remove all doubt. If you've never been in those shoes, if you've never experienced that fear, you will never know what it's like to do a traffic stop and find a gun in your face within milliseconds, only to have to pull that trigger and hope to survive. You will never know that. And that is the experience that black folks need to know when we are out there carrying firearms, for we are now a part of the gun carrying community, and we need to know these things in terms of how to interact with law enforcement. It's amazing how you want people to feel the plight of African Americans, but you don't want to have transactional empathy for the officers that have to do their job, regardless of whether you agree or disagree. It's amazing. It's called transactional and reciprocal empathy. We both want to go home. We both have a job to do. Your job is to solve the crime. My job is to protect my rights. And we both have a job to do. And so that, dude, really? Then the cop should have, I love YouTube, here we go. Then the cop should have pulled him out of the car if he feared for his life, like other people do. But let me tell you something. See, you can't eat your cake and have it too. Dead serious, right? And I'm glad you're here. You can't eat your cake and have it too. Wait a minute. The one thing that people keep saying is, oh, you didn't have probable cause to pull the person out of the car. You didn't have probable cause to pull them out the car. But here you are saying, well, if they felt in fear of their life, you should have pulled them out the car. Which one is it? Never mind the case of Pennsylvania versus Mims, the United States Supreme Court case of Pennsylvania versus Mims that gives officers the legal authority to be able to pull you out the car if you're the driver. Never mind the United States Supreme Court case of Maryland versus Wilson that gives officers the legal authority to be able to pull the passengers out of the car, even if it's not connected to the stop, for the sole basis of officer safety. Never mind any of those cases. So now you want the officers to pull them out the car if they feel in fear of their life, instead of just saying, don't reach for it. Instead of just saying, don't reach for it. Nate Too Real, you said you're out. Air Assault, take care. You're just robbing yourself of education because your ego. General Colin Powell said it best in his 13 rules. Avoid having your ego so closely connected to your position that when your position falls, your ego falls with it. You don't have to like Instructor Mike. In fact, I will say what some of you will want to say and what some of you are saying now. Fuck you, Mike Brown. Got it. Let's address that elephant in the room. It's not about Mike Brown. It's about you educating yourself. And when you don't want to listen to a disagreeing opinion because of your ego, don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm that way too. That's why I can talk about it. You're robbing yourself of the very education that you can learn. Everybody has something to teach you. Everybody. So now you're mad because they didn't condemn the shooting. How about that? But you don't understand when the hands disappear, it accelerates the fear. Let's get back on topic. Here we go. Absolutely, right? So, here we go. It is said that the NRA, according to the National African American Gun Association, has failed in enforcing the rights of Black Americans. And we're going to create our own organization. Okay, let's dive into that, okay? The National African American Gun Association, you can go to the website, NAAGA.co, NAAGA.co. You know, a beautiful website, beautiful. I have to say it is very beautiful. You know, about us, training, gallery, memberships, shop, blog, contact us, beautiful. History, you know, unique history of gun ownership, firearms training, self-defense focus. And as an instructor, I automatically gravitated to firearms training. Let's go there, learn more, right? Learn more. Here we go. Yes, as a regular citizen, in most places, if not them all, you can go on a ride along, so provided you signed a waiver, you got a ballistic vest of some sort, they take other measures. Yes, you can go on a ride along. Boy, please. Yes, ride alongs are awesome. Here we go. Firearms courses and certifications. Of course, all courses coming soon because you have to be a certified entity in order to certify folks, right? So here we go. Basic firearms fundamentals, defensive pistol 1, defensive pistol 2, range safety officer, advanced marksman, marksmanship proficiency qualifier certification, pistol and self-defense, women defensive tactics course, home security defensive course, NAGA instructor certification, and certification course. Let me have you understand something. If you are going to attack the National Rifle Association and you are going to say that they have not advanced the cause of African Americans as it relates to civil rights and gun ownership, and you are about to create all these firearm courses and certifications, the NRA has been around since the 1800s. Bet not one thing in these courses reflect or look like anything the NRA has in its curriculum. And you know what? That's going to be hard because the NRA has been teaching firearms for quite a while. It's going to be quite a while. Now, you said, is there a Black NRA? That's what this seeks to be, right? That's what this seeks to be. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not against the National African American Gun Association. I understand them. I get them. But certain positions I defend against. I defend against that. Basic courses, I love it. Dude, when they get the course, I would love to take their NAGA instructor course and certification if they get certified to certify. But I guarantee you there's going to be some discrimination. I guarantee you There's going to be some. Yes, thank you, Pedro. Mike, to me, with all due respect, I mean, hold on, let me get to where I can read your comment. With all due respect, to me, that sounds like it's trying to be another racist organization to exclude everybody else, not include. I hate to say that, but that is exactly what that looks like, because I got a feeling, and I'm going to tell you one thing that exists in the black community. If you are black, but you don't speak the black narrative, or you don't promote the black agenda, or you marry someone white, or I'm telling you, if you're a light-skinned black person, you get discrimination in the black community. If you are a cute female, and it's a female who has self-esteem issues, who's the other female looking at the cute female, you get discrimination. If you're fat, you get discrimination. Too skinny, you get discrimination. If you're smart, you get discrimination. Boy, please. So just imagine me, an instructor, right? I'm Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board certified. I'm NRA certified just to have the credential, and I've been NRA certified for quite a long time, like many of you all are, right? Because NRA has been around for the longest, right? I have not gotten the USCCA certification, but I would only get it just to get it, right? Just like with NAGA, right? I would get it just to get it. But I guarantee you, because if you tap on it, here we go. This course, listen to me, fellow YouTubers. And by the way, don't just watch, please subscribe. I would love it if you subscribe. Thank you for your subscriptions, all that great stuff. Here we go. NAGA Instructor Course and Certification. This course is for those instructors who have prior experience teaching firearms to the general public and want to get an instructor certification with the National African American Gun Association. This course will allow you to teach NAGA certified courses throughout the United States. To qualify, you must meet high standards of the organization in shooting experience, teaching methodology, and be dedicated in supporting the community. For this course, the standards are, and like the video too, please. For this course, the standards are extremely high in all three phases: shooting skills, teaching, and here's the problem: cultural awareness. Let's get there. Shooting. Participants will be evaluated based on these areas. Must be able to shoot a minimum of 25 yards in a timed test. Rifle and pistol shooting experience. Move and shooting range knowledge. Extremely intense, and is only for highly skilled instructors. That sounds equivalent to the NRA. Sounds equivalent to the NRA. We'll get there though. Teaching must demonstrate the ability to teach with a high degree of verbal communication and be able to inspire. I read that because I was reading a comment and this. Inspire, motivate, and build a student's skill and confidence. Okay, awesome, excellent. Cultural awareness. Potential instructors must have an understanding of the history of firearms within our community and the social realities that are currently present to adequately prepare students for real-life scenarios. Let's look at that. Cultural awareness. Potential instructors must have an understanding of the history of firearms within our community and the social realities that are currently present to adequately prepare students for real life. In other words, if you are a Republican and you are black, 9 times out of 10, you will probably not be allowed to be certified as a NAGA instructor because you promote what is perceived to be racial ideologies. Because that's what most black folks think about the Republican Party, that they are all racist. So if you are a firearms instructor like me, or a person who just has knowledge of guns and you want to teach people about firearms instruction. I'm sorry. You want to teach people about firearms, right? And you don't subscribe to either political party. You're not Republican or Democrat. You're not conservative or liberal. You're independent. You may say something that comes off as conservative while not being conservative. You may say something that comes off as liberal while not being liberal. If you don't believe in the Black Lives Matter organization, but you believe that Black Lives Matter, you may not get this certification. If you believe that Republicans weren't all bad, just like Democrats aren't all good, you might not get this certification. If you go to the history of the National Rifle Association and you look at the fact that Ulysses S. Grant, one of our presidents of these United States, a former Union general of the United States Army, was also a president of the NRA from 1883 to 1884 and was a staunch advocate for civil rights, had an attorney general who vigorously prosecuted the Ku Klux Klan. Ambrose Burnside, who was a Union Army general, you know, the Civil War, right? The, South versus the North, right? The Confederate versus the Union. You see what I'm saying? The Union Army, right? Ambrose Burnside was the first president of the National Rifle Association, a Union Army general, a Republican. Ulysses S. Grant, the president of the United States, who was one of the presidents post-presidency of the NRA, staunchly an advocate for black civil rights, staunchly an advocate against the Ku Klux Klan. Come on now. Absolutely, I agree. Politics and religion should have nothing to do with educating someone. But I will say this, speaking of politics, right? It's nothing wrong with joining such what is starting to be a powerful organization such as the National African American Gun Association with over 34,000 members, 60 to 70% of them who are women. I absolutely love it. But please don't crap on another organization that has been around a lot longer than you. Don't crap on another organization where you're probably going to end up plagiarizing their material to make yours work. Don't crap on an organization which is starting to look like a discriminative organization. You're probably going to discriminate, right, against people like me or better than me who don't bite the Democratic bullet, who don't necessarily agree with all Republican things. A person like me, you would definitely turn away. Why? Don't tell me about cultural awareness and make that a part of the certification. Tell me about cultural awareness and make that part of the education. But you said it right here, instructor course and certification. You made it that they would be graded on 3 phases. Shooting skills, which I wholeheartedly agree. Teaching, which I wholeheartedly agree. Cultural awareness. What if the NRA said, as a part of being an NRA instructor, you must recognize not just the history of the NRA, which is important, but let's talk about white pride. Let's talk about the Ku Klux Klan. Let's talk about the senators and representatives in the House who have been white and have support. If they were to teach a history class on that, oh! So now you want to make black folks ignore. Let's talk about the NRA. Let's talk about the NRA and the wonderful city that I'm in now, Chicago. But not for the NRA. But not for the NRA. We would not have concealed carry in Chicago, the 3rd largest city in the United States of America. but not for the NRA and other associations that align with the NRA. Washington, D.C. would not have had their handgun ban stricken in the federal district of Columbia. The Keller case preceded, is it Keller or Heller? One of the two. Yes. That case preceded McDonald versus Chicago. Rhonda Ezell, one of the litigants in, she is Chicago Guns Matter. Shouts out to Rhonda, right? Rhonda Ezell, but not for her standing up against Chicago's handgun ban, along with other associations. We would not have concealed carry in Chicago. So how can I, as a firearms instructor based out of Chicago, how can I teach my students the very things that they need to know in a place that has politically disenfranchised black folks from being able to protect themselves? And not just black folks, but all Chicagoans. How can I support an association such as the National African American Gun Association when you're trying to crap on the National Rifle Association that was instrumental in us being able to carry our firearms in a concealed manner today? You can promote your organization as much as you can while paying homage to the work that the NRA has done, while saying, hey, while I agree you have done this, you can do this better. That's a better way of saying it. But to sit there and just crap on the organization that has been around longer than most of us have been alive, in fact, all of us have been alive, to sit there and crap on an organization, yeah, I'm going to save the video, to sit here and crap on an organization that's responsible for the citizens in the third largest city in these United States, that's responsible for us being able to carry, that's responsible for the thousands of people in Illinois and in Chicago alone that I have certified so that they can protect themselves. For you to crap on them, but you want membership? You're not even political. You're not even right where it counts. And we are about to be in the fight for our gun rights with House Resolution 127. We are about to be in the fight for our lives. Why? In Chicago and in Illinois, they just passed House Bill 3653, which puts a great handcuff on the abilities of the police. Now, don't get me wrong. Some parts of it I agree with. Other parts I don't. But they are handcuffing the police's ability to do their job. But they are not doing anything to hold these parents accountable. Absolutely, Derek. I was part of NAGA years ago, and I still don't know what they're about. Absolutely. Come on, man. Come on, bruh. You're going to handcuff the police, but you don't do anything to help educate the citizens on what we can do without the police to take care of and police ourselves. You're going to handcuff the police and blame them for the ills of what's going on in our community, but you don't have any parental accountability bill or any type of measures to hold these parents responsible for the way that they raise their children, the way that they abuse their children, the way that they deny their children the right to be citizens and be free in themselves, to express themselves as children. What we have here is a lot of angry children committing crimes against the adults who neglected them. You want to be about national African American gun rights, but you want to ignore the proverb that a child not embraced by the village, a child not embraced by the village will burn it to feel its warmth. Come on now. We got more things in our village, black folks, that we have to focus on too. What about the human conflict that goes on in our community? The fact that we don't demand of our educational systems teaching us more things. John Catazara, the president of the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 7, was on a radio show on WVON with radio host T.O. Hardiman, founder of Violence Interrupters. And he said a wonderful statement that I wholeheartedly agree with. The Chicago Fraternal Order of Police is under attack for the policing and its history. But yet, the Chicago Teachers Union, one of the largest unions in the city of Chicago, representing all of Chicago's teachers or those in its membership. You think there aren't any bad teachers, just like there aren't any bad cops? Yet when there are bad teachers, they don't get talked about. When there are bad teachers, there's no legislation to remove them. When the teachers aren't getting what they want, people crowd around them and give them what they wanted. Oh, well, it's not the teachers, it's the students. Oh, there's some bad teachers out there. There's some teachers that are only teachers just to get their student loan debt wiped away after serving 10 years in an impoverished area such as Chicago and the neighborhoods that are underserved. There are some bad teachers just like they are bad cops. But the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 7, is the only union under attack. And the Chicago Teachers Union is not under attack for bad teachers who should not be teachers. For bad teachers who project their personal issues off on students. For bad teachers who don't embrace the concept that failure is a part of success. If you learn from the failure, what did you learn? Who make failing students feel horrible, absolutely horrible. When in fact, the student could have been failing not because they don't want to learn, but because the teacher isn't teaching that child the way the child learns. But we don't hold them responsible for that. Let's not digress too much. I'm just saying, National African American Gun Association, do what you have to do in the right way to increase membership. But I, as an independent instructor who doesn't lean right or left, but stays in the middle as much as I can, unless the issue causes me to swing one or two ways. As an independent instructor, I ain't about to sit there and allow you to just shit on the National Rifle Association when they are instrumental and have been instrumental in promoting all gun rights. And yes, they may not speak out directly on some things like you would want them to. But there is a saying, I'd rather be silent and be thought of as a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. That's why they didn't say anything right away about Philando Castile. Wait till the facts come out. And now that the facts are out and have been out, and the officer was charged and not convicted, oh man, we'll never get justice. That's because there was no justice to get. Philando Castile's instructor failed him, like some of you firearms instructors fail your students, when all you do is just teach them how to use the gun, and you don't teach them about human conflict. When you encourage them to go out there and get into gun battles and don't teach them that if you're scared before you get that gun, remain scared with that gun, because scared people know all the places to stay away from. When 100% of the wars that you avoid, you win. You fail the people when you don't teach them right. And you don't teach them right because you don't educate yourself beyond your I just got my certification, now I can make money course. Teach the people right. I didn't say get them to accept. I said teach the people right. 2 + 2 is what? 4. I don't care what you feel about the fact that it's 4. I don't care if you like that it's 4. I don't care that you dislike it's 4. It's 4. And if you don't like that, that's a you problem. But as an educator, you are supposed to teach them that 2 + 2 is 4. You are supposed to tell them. You are supposed to show them. You are supposed to make them show you. That's what you're supposed to do. Not ask them, well, how do you feel about 2 + 2 being 4? Well, do you accept that 2 + 2 is 4? Oh, well, why don't you accept it? I don't give a damn what you think about how you feel in terms of 2 plus 2 being 4. It's the fact that if within the operations, the plus sign means you add, not 2 and 2 could be 22. You're combining the integers, not adding them. 2 plus 2 within that operation based on that sign means you add them. And 2 plus 2 is 4 all day. Do you get it? Not do you accept it? Do you understand it? Not do you like it? Teach them well, or you are failing them. And Philando Castle's instructor failed them. Oh, here we go. Here's another case. I love this one. Jamail Roberson. Remember that case out of Chicago area in Robbins, Illinois? A good guy with a gun. Here you got a good guy with a gun. Jamail Roberson. Oh, a good guy with a FOID card. Jamail Roberson. A black security officer. Jamail Roberson. He was shot and killed by white police officer Ian Covey in Midlothian. Oh my God, let's condemn them. Let's condemn them. Oh, okay. Well, the NRA. Oh, what you got to say about that? Here's another good guy with a gun. You know, y'all love to say that. Well, why you ain't say nothing about it now? National African American Gun Association instructors. Yeah, let's beat on them. Yeah, let's beat on them. Well, here we go. This good guy with a gun only had an FOID card in the state of Illinois, meaning that he was not authorized to possess that firearm in the area where he was attempting to use it. Duh. But you want the NRA to verbally speak out and say that we can't support the position of this young man for a while he might have been NRA certified, for a while he might have been a black man, for a while he might have had a FOID card. He was not supposed to possess that gun. And we can't say anything about this positively because this man was wrong. That's against the position of the NRA. Why? Not that they agree with him being killed, but they agree with the fact that he wasn't supposed to possess that. But guess what? People like me who tell the truth on my social media platforms get attacked. So the NRA is probably like, well, hell, if the black folks will attack that black man for telling them the truth, what do you think they will do to us? We, as a white person and as an organization headed by a white person, we can't say that. We want to, but we can't because we're going to automatically be seen as racist. Why? Take a look at Instructor Mike's page. Take a look at this person's page. This is a black man saying the same thing we would have said, minus a few words. They would have said the same thing, or we would have said the same thing that they said. And look at how many attacks are lobbed against him. And he's one of them. He's a black person just like them. And if this black man gets attacked by these other black folks who refuse to accept the facts that his death, while tragic, was caused by himself. He did that to himself. He caused his own death. Yes, is Jamail Roberson a hero? Absolutely. He did what most black folks wouldn't even do. He attempted to apprehend the shooter. I love him for that. He attempted to apprehend the shooter, but there were several things in place that made his death possible. Contrary to popular belief, he did not have on anything that said security, so he had nothing to visually identify within the context of what occurred to segregate him as someone who should not be shot, as someone who should be afforded extra attention. That's why I wear something big that says Firearms Instructor, so everyone knows that there can be no mistake as to who I am when I'm doing what I'm doing on the range. That's why people wear big things that says police, because when you're under the influence of stress, you get this thing called tunnel vision. And so your vision is narrowed because your stress is inoculated and you are focused. That's why you wear big things, because fine motor skills are out the window. Gross motor skills are in play. You need big picture items to cause big picture results in the brain. And he didn't have that on. So Ian Covey had no other choice but to focus on the optics of how it looked. And that was a good guy with a gun who did not look like a good guy. And it wasn't because he was black, because both of them were black. Come on, man. You got to teach the people right. And then black folks got angry. Ooh, so angry when the black head prosecutor in Cook County, Kim Fox, refused to charge Ian Covey with the death of Jamail Roberson. Why? Because as much as an advocate as Kim Fox is for the black community, as much as she is criticized for the things that she has done, and I have been one such critic on certain things, not even she could lodge a prosecution against a police officer where the facts and the circumstances presented in that case showed that Jamail Roberson, an otherwise good guy, should not have been in possession of that gun during that event. And that Ian Covey did what he could, given the optics, to stop what could have been a deadly situation if he did not. So you want the NRA to speak out on that, even though they see black folks attacking someone so vocal and black as me? I'm not going to speak out on that. If they'll attack him and he's black, they definitely going to destroy us, and we're white. So it's best to just be quiet and see how it plays. Those are the cards that they are dealt. And it's amazing, National African American Gun Association, how you want to get political. You want to get political and think you're not going to be attacked by black folks? If you're a black person and you're too dark, you're discriminated against. If you're a black person and you're too light, you're discriminated against. If you're a black person and you're smart and want to sit in the front of the class and answer all the questions, you get talked about. If you're a black person and you want to sit here and do things different, maybe you don't wear Air Jordans. Maybe you don't wear the latest fashions. Maybe you wear simple things. Maybe you're a Republican. You'll be ostracized. You'll be ostracized by the black community. Dominique Barr, I'm going to read your comment because it was blocked. I see it now. It's crazy how they focus on police killing black people, but what about blacks killing blacks? No organization steps up for that. I'm going to show that comment. Thank you for that comment. Thank you for that comment. You are exactly correct. You want to sit here and talk about police shootings. You want to sit here and talk about Trump. But you don't want to sit here and talk about the author of the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994 vis-a-vis the Clinton crime bill. You don't want to talk about the people that's going to come after the firearms that we have. You don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about how in Chicago, a city in a state that was the last in the union to get concealed carry. You don't want to talk about how the crime in our community is super high. Super high. You don't want to talk about how we black folks lead the city in us killing us. You don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about how, and this is funny, you don't want to talk about how in Ferguson, Missouri, Michael Brown Sr., who's the father of Michael Brown Jr., is partnering with another activist out there in Ferguson, Missouri. You all know where that is. You don't want to talk about how they are demanding that Black Lives Matter, the organization, give them $20 million because Black Lives Matter, the organization, has amassed millions of dollars, but aren't doing anything to try to help black folks stop killing black folks. They really aren't doing anything to try to help black folks understand police encounters so that we got a greater chance of surviving them, even though we greatly survive them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. If you're watching this, please like the video, please subscribe, please share. Please like, please subscribe, please share. I got to get out of here. I got things to do. I'm just saying, National African American Gun Association, otherwise known as NAGA. I don't even understand why you even picked that as a name when the acronym just resembles too closely the word that people don't want to hear white people say. Or how there's still slavery in Africa. That part too. Yes. National African American Gun Association. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Do you hear me? I love it. That you are bringing the people together so that we can start to actually do what we should have been doing. I love it. But you're coming off as a bit racist. Sorry. Because I see it all in your literature. I see it. Cultural awareness. So you're going to make me hate white folks just to be certified? You're going to make me hate Donald Trump just to be certified? You're going to make me love Barack Obama and Joe Biden just to be certified? When I don't hate or love any of them, I may like them all, but disagree with certain things. But you're going to push me to be culturally aware of this as a part of my instructor certification? Now tell me about the history of black folks and guns in the United States. Okay, I'll take a test on that any day because that's history. But you're going to make me form to your views and opinions on fuck Whitey and the NRA just to get certified with your racist organization? Is that not the very essence of the thing you want to fight? People don't understand why Nick Cannon got canceled as a part of that cancel culture. I don't agree with the cancel culture, but Nick Cannon canceled himself when he was talking about white folks are from the Caucasus Mountains and their skulls are shaped in their Neanderthal. That's the same kind of logic they tried to use as a reason to segregate us after slavery and even during slavery. Well, they're baboons. They look like gorillas. Big old lips, big old asses. They look like this. Let's treat them this way because they look subhuman. And you said the very same thing and wonder why you got canceled. You can't fight racism with more racism. And surprise, motherfuckers, surprise, long before the founding of America, there has been differences of treatment of other people all over the world because they had and had not, because they won wars and lost them. So if America was to be wiped away just like that, and another country was to rise as a power, you would still have differences of treatment. You'd still have that. That's a human condition. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying racism doesn't exist. Yes, it does. But it's an ism promoted by humans. Don't tell me about Dylan Roof and going into South Carolina, killing those 9 black folks. And the majority of black folks are focusing on the fact that Dylan Roof was still alive and he walked out and the cops took him to Burger King. Focus on the Democratic senator from South Carolina, the state senator in that state who was the pastor of that church, a black man. National African American Gun Association. Tell me how a black man who was a Democratic senator in that state, he was an advocate against guns. And 9 times out of 10, he preached that to his followers, his sheep, his parishioners. And they bit the bullet and bought into that. Ask the question not of why a racist came into a black church to kill black folks. Ask the question also why none of them had the tool to dispatch Dylan Roof where he should have been in that given situation. Why didn't any of them have a firearm to protect themselves in the South? Hell, in the North too, but especially in the South. If you believe that the South is so racist, and yes, the South has been ground zero for the plantations and the subhuman treatment of black folks. So why then there, when gun rights are so liberal there, even though it's conservatively pushed and promoted, why didn't any of those 9 people have the ability to use the tool to defend themselves in the house of God? See, it's amazing when people get you to focus on what they want you to focus on instead of what really should be talked about. Why were they not able to protect themselves in the house of God? National African American Gun Association, you got a lot. You got a lot that you are about to deal with. You got a lot that you are about to deal with. You got a lot. No one premeditated the level of evil that would take place that day. But how though, Tim? Tim, how? How, sir? Maybe I'm misunderstanding your comment. How? Come on, man. You're in the South. Yes, there are a lot of people in the South, or there are people in the South who, they believe that black folks have the right to be treated as equals, but you still have some that disagree. They feel that black folks should still be killed. They still feel that black folks, Jews, and other people should be treated horribly. Okay, the better thought process would have been to assume, thank you, Tim, that anything could happen. Hold on, let me screen. Okay, the better thought process would be to assume that anything can happen at any time and place. I would have had my firearm at church. Absolutely, Tim. Absolutely. There we go. I'm sorry. You don't get tithes where I can't save lives. You don't get my money if I can't protect me, honey. Sorry. That's a condition for me to attend your church. If I can't carry my peace that passeth all understanding, then I can't give you any money. I can't do it. And I can't attend your church. All right, I've been going straight for 60 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and stop this because I want y'all to share it. I want you all to share it. I want you all to share it. This is Instructor Mike, and you've been trained. Follow me on Facebook at Mike Brown or Instructor Mike. Follow me on this YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Hit the like button. Hit the bell for notifications. Subscribe to it. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. I love it. Every last one of you. Love it, love it, love it. It was long. It was long, but it needed to be talked about. Okay? Follow me on TikTok, Instagram. Yes, Mike said it. Yes, Mike said it. Okay? You all take care and stay safe.